Chapter 4. Your eyes are closed? You've asked me 5 times. You can't see anything? Not with the blindfold on. Belle had been standing in front of the pair of tall, gracefully arched doors. The beast had led her out of the kitchen, down a long corridor, and up a flight of stone steps. When they'd arrived, he put the candelabrum he'd been carrying down on the table next to the doors. Then he'd insisted on trying his cravat around her eyes. "Wait there," he said when he was finished. "Don't wander off." Belle had laughed. Wander off? Near a staircase? In a blindfold? The beast hadn't responded. He'd been too busy fumbling with the brass king ring. Belle had heard the key straggling. Why is it taking him so long to fit a key into a lock? She'd wondered. Surely he knows how to open the door of his own castle. And then she'd realize why. He was nervous. He wants me to like the surprise, she thought. He wants to please me. The thought of the beast wanting to please anyone was so odd. Belle had immediately dismissed it. There must be another reason. Maybe the light was bad wherever they were. Maybe he couldn't see the keys. "Ah, here we go," the beast had finally said. Belle had heard the key turn and the hinges groan. She felt a rush of musty air against her face as the door swung open. She smelled leather and a linseed oil, accompanied of paints and inks. "This way," the beast had said, leading her forward. "Careful, Belle, just a little farther. Stop right there." Belle had tilted her head toward him, intrigued by his voice. There were things in it she hadn't heard before. Anticipation, excitement, happiness. "Where are we?" she'd ask, eager to know what sort of place would bring out such emotions in him. "Be patient, you'll see," he said. "We just need a bit of light first." Belle had heard him walk back through the doorway and grab the candelabrum. "Are you ready?" he'd asked by her side again. "I think so," Belle had replied. The beast had untied the blindfold. "All right, Belle," he'd say, "open your eyes." Belle had blinking. Her eyes had grown round. Her hands had come to her mouth. In the light of the candelabrum, she'd seen the books, hundreds of them, thousands. The beast had brought her to his library. It was dark and dusty, indeed of a good cleaning, but it was still one of the most awe-inspiring rooms she'd ever seen. The ceiling was most of the 2 stories high. Tall shelves lined the walls. Wooden ladders mounted on the brass rail allowed visitors access to the highest reaches. The carved marble mantel, nestled between the shelves along one wall, was flanked by 2 deep leather chairs. "Do you like the surprise, Belle?" the beast had asked. "Like it?" Belle had said, a catch in her voice. "I love it." Captivated by the books, Belle didn't see the beast smile. She didn't see his eyes, so hidden, so haunted, filled with the pale, fragile hope. Belle pulled the book down from the nearest shelf and blew the dust off its cover. The book's binding, of fine calfskin, was as soft as the glove. Belle had opened it and had seen that its end papers were colorfully marbled and its pages beautifully printed with a rich black ink. No wonder she recognized the scent of the leather and lensed when she entered the room. Together they made the bubbling perfume of a book. The beast has joined her. He squinted at the title. "The Fairy Queen," he said, "a poem written for England's Queen Elizabeth, and one of my favorites." "Mine too," said Belle. The beast has cleared his throat. "For whatsoever from one place doth fall, is with the tide on to an other brought." Delighted, Belle had spoken the next line. "For there is nothing lost that may be found," it thought. They'd finished together. Belle's brown eyes had shone with happiness. All her life she loved books. She loved the look of them, the smell of them, the sweet weight of them in her arms. Most of all, she loved the feeling she got every time she picked one up. The feeling of holding an entire world in her hands. She's put the Fairy Queen back, crossed the room to a different shelf, and pulled another book from it with the sun splendor of Venice. She'd said, reading its title aloud, "Your library is extraordinary. It's amazing. Thank you so much for bringing me here," she said. "I'm glad you like it. It's my favorite place in the entire castle. I come here every day. My great-great-grandfather started it," the beast had explained. His most prized acquisition was an original quarto of Hamlet. Shakespeare, Belle has exclaimed. He's my favorite. Do you have one more of his work? She'd asked. The Tempest, Romeo and Juliet. Yes, of course, all of the Shakespeare's work is here. There's also an excellent selection of poetry, and you may come across the odd enchanted book. Most are harmless, but one or two can be a little unruly. He'd pause. But this is silly. Instead of me telling you what's here, go see for yourself. That was all Belle had needed to hear. In a heartbeat, she was off, bounding from bookcase to bookcase, her boots leaving steps in dust. What stories this place contained? She thought. Stories of triumph and defeat, love and betrayal, stories of sorrow and joy. There were lives between all the covers, bold, brilliant ones. There were exotic, faraway places. All she had to do was open a book to become Joan of Arc at the Siege of Orleans, Marco Polo traveling the Silk Road, or Cleopatra sailing to Paris to meet Mark Antony. She might be a captive, but in this room, with a book in her hand, she could be free. Come here any time, Belle. Read whatever you like. These books are yours now, the Beast had said softly. They're my gift to you. Belle had laughed. The Beast was joking. He had to be. This collection was incomparable. It was priceless. No one would simply give it away. If I could borrow one or two, she'd ask, looking up at a shelf. But she'd received no answer. Puzzled by the silence, Belle had turned around and had seen that she was talking to herself. The Beast has gone.